it chapter by chapter, one bite at a time. So many adventures and mountains we can climb. Take it word for word, line by line, one bite at a time.
Welcome to Bite at a Time Books, where we read you your favorite classics one bite at a time. My name is Bree Carlile, and I love to read, and wanted to share my passion with listeners like you. If you want to know what's coming next and vote on upcoming books, sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com. You'll also find our new t-shirts in the shop, including podcast shirts and quote shirts from your favorite classic novels. Be sure to follow my show on your favorite podcast platform so you get all the new episodes. You can find most of our links in the show notes, but also our website, biteatatimebooks.com, includes all of the links for our show, including to our Patreon to support the show, and YouTube, where we have special behind the narration of the episodes. We're part of the Bite at a Time Books Productions Network. If you'd also like to hear what inspired your favorite classic authors to write their novels, and what was going on in the world at the time, check out the Bite at a Time Books Behind the Story podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please note, while we try to keep the text as close to the original as possible, some words have been changed to honor the marginalized communities who've identified the words as harmful, and to stay in alignment with Bite at a Time Books' brand values. Today we'll be continuing Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. Chapter 6, in which Magnan and her 2 children are seen. With Monsieur Gillenormand, sorrow was converted into wrath. He was furious at being in despair. He had all sorts of prejudices and took all sorts of liberties. One of the facts of which his exterior relief and his internal satisfaction was composed was, as we have just hinted, that he had remained a brisk spark, and that he had passed energetically for such. This he called having royal renown. This royal renown sometimes drew down upon him singular windfalls. One day, there was brought to him in a basket, as though it had been a basket of oysters, a stout, newly born boy, who was yelling like the deuce, and duly wrapped in swaddling clothes, which a servant maid, dismissed 6 months previously, attributed to him. Monsieur Gillenormand had at that time fully completed his 84th year. Indignation and uproar in the establishment. And whom did that bold hussy think she could persuade to believe that? What audacity! What an abominable calamity! Monsieur Gillenormand himself was not at all enraged. He gazed at the brat with an amiable smile of a good man who was flattered by the calumny, and said in an aside, "Well, what now? What's the matter? You are finely taken aback, and really you are excessively ignorant. Monsieur le Duc d'Angoulême, the bastard of His Majesty Charles IX, married a silly jade of 15 when he was 85. Monsieur Virginal, Marquis d'Ailly, brother to the Cardinal de Sourdis, Archbishop of Bordeaux, had at the age of 83, by the maid of Madame le Présidente Jacquin, a son, a real child of love, who became a Chevalier of Malta and a Councillor of State, one of the great men of the century. The Abbé Tabarod is the son of a man of 87. There is nothing out of the ordinary in these things. And then the Bible. Upon that, I declare that this little gentleman is none of mine. Let him be taken care of. It is not his fault. This manner of procedure was good-tempered. The woman, whose name was Magnan, sent him another parcel in the following year. It was a boy again. Thereupon Monsieur Gillenormand capitulated. He sent the 2 brats back to their mother, promising to pay 80 francs a month for their maintenance, on the condition that the said mother would not do so any more. He added, "I insist upon it, that the mother shall treat them well. I shall go to see them from time to time." And this he did. He had had a brother who was a priest. and who would had been rector of the Academy of Poitiers for 33 years and had died at 79. "I lost him young," said he. This brother, of whom but little memory remains, was a peaceable miser who, being a priest, thought himself bound to bestow alms on the poor whom he met, but he never gave them anything except bad or demonetized sous, thereby discovering a means of going to hell by way of paradise. As for Monsieur Gillenormand, the elder, he never haggled over his almsgiving, but gave gladly and nobly. He was kindly, abrupt, charitable, and if he had been rich, his turn of mind would have been magnificent. He desired that all which concerned him should be done in a grand manner, even his rogueries. One day, having been cheated by a businessman in a matter of inheritance, in a gross and apparent manner, he uttered this solemn exclamation: "This was indecently done. I am really ashamed of this pilfering." Everything had degenerated in this century. Even the rascals. Morbleu, this is not the way to rob a man of my standing. I am robbed as though in a forest, but badly robbed. Sylvaeus and Consul Digné. He had had 2 wives, as we have already mentioned. By the first, he had had a daughter, who had remained unmarried, and by the second, another daughter, who had died at about the age of 30, who had wedded, through love or chance, or otherwise a soldier of fortune who had served in the armies of the Republic and of the Empire, who had won the cross at Austerlitz, and had been made colonel at Waterloo. "He is a disgrace of my family," said the old bourgeois. He took an immense amount of snuff and had a particularly graceful manner of plucking at his lace ruffle with the back of one hand. He believed very little in God. Thank you for joining Bite at a Time Books today, while we read a bite of one of your favorite classics. Again, my name is Bree Carlile, and I hope you come back tomorrow for the next bite of Les Miserables. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter at biteatatimebooks.com and check out the shop. You can check out the show notes or our website, biteatatimebooks.com, for the rest of the links for our show. We'd love to hear from you on social media as well.